Hello everyone. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about fear, but it's the uncomfortable fear, because today we're talking about my fear. Stay tuned. If you're a survivor of violence and are ready to get control of your life again, you're in the right place at the right time. This is the Survivors to Thrivers podcast with your host, Branford Blackman. All right, hello everybody, and just a quick note here. The next episode I'm going to be talking about is about fear. It's about where it comes from, what fuels it, and how to overcome it. Sounds good, right? I mean, who couldn't use a talk or a lesson on how to overcome fear? But that's for next week. For this week, we're talking about something a little more specific to me. Fear can creep into anything, whether it's our work, our hobbies, our creativity, and even our relationships, right? It can bring our productivity down, our prosperity down, and it can even bring our very happiness to a screeching halt. And then it can hold us there like a hostage in that place of not moving forward, of not growing. Now, when you think about being courageous or being fearless, it's easy to see how it comes so naturally to some people, and that can be a little frustrating. But it's still good for us to see it. You know that friend of yours who seems to be able to take any idea and turn it into a business that makes money? That woman who can walk into any group of people and feel completely comfortable? Wow, right? I wish I could do that. That guy who can hop up in front of a crowd of any size and speak as comfortably as if he's speaking to a small group of his close friends. Your coworker who's as comfortable talking to the CEO of your company as she is talking to the storeroom clerk. And of course, we all know those people who can talk to any stranger of the opposite sex, no matter how ridiculously attractive that stranger is. How frustrating is that to see them do that? You know, and then there's that other group of people who do a different kind of fearless. Those people who do things like fight fires, catch criminals, hunt terrorists, or even go to war for the safety of others. If you've read much of my website or my bio, you know that I fall into that last group. I've been a police officer, a soldier, an air marshal, and more. So let me say this. When I'm teaching about overcoming fear, or responding to someone breaking into your house, or teaching how to fight off an attacker who's twice your size, I'm sure it's very easy for people to say, well, yeah, Cran, you might be able to do that, but I don't have the training and experience you do. And I get it. That's a reasonable reaction when you don't know the stuff I know or know what you're going to be learning. Now, I can teach you to overcome those kinds of fear. But you know, we can really say that sort of thing to anyone who does stuff that we're afraid of, especially if they do it a lot better than we do. That woman who can do public speaking, no matter the size of the crowd or the topic, what do we say? Well, yeah, she might be able to do that, but... Or what about that guy who can cold call anyone to make a sales pitch and do it with confidence? Well, yeah, he can do that, but he knows blah, blah, blah. How about that couple who risks their entire life savings to start that business they've always dreamed of? Well, sure, they can do that, but I can't because... You know, that sneaky old fear seems to be able to get its slimy, sticky fingers into every part of anyone's life. Now, you can overcome your fear and accomplish what you want, but it is a full-time job. It's something you must keep doing because even if you overcome one fear, another one can easily pop up into your life, right? That's just the way it goes. That's life. We're going to have fears show up. There's going to be challenges, problems, things we don't understand, things we don't know how to do. So we have to learn to keep continuing to overcome fear. You know, it's really strange where it'll show up, and in such strange and illogical ways. Even when we see the craziness of our fears, even when we know how illogical it is, we still have to face it. We still have to deal with it and overcome it because it is still a very real fear to us. And you know what else is strange? Being courageous in one area of your life in no way means you'll be courageous in all the other areas of your life. Crazy, right? You might be totally comfortable socializing in a room full of strangers, but be absolutely terrified of presenting a business idea to only 2 people at a conference table. You might be okay chasing armed criminals through alleys, and yet you're afraid to tell your spouse that you would like to take an art class. You might be totally at ease pitching billion-dollar ideas to rooms full of CEOs, but can't seem to talk to the cute waitress at the corner diner without falling all over your own words. It happens to all of us. Nobody is immune. It's just the way of the world. And saying that it happens to everybody, that includes me. And to prove it, with embarrassing honesty, I want to share with you some of my fears. First of all, I've got to tell you, I'm not completely comfortable with this. Now, that's one gentle on the ego way of saying, I'm afraid to do this. I don't exactly like talking about my own fears or my own weaknesses. And here's why. You see, there's an image many people have of people like me who have done things like the military, combat training, police stuff, federal agent stuff. There's an image you get in your head when you think of those kinds of people. They're strong, they're fearless, they're decisive, and so on. In some situations, that's true, and I'm talking about me now. In some situations, those are true. I can be strong, I can be fearless, I can be decisive. And I like to think that I'm those ways in every situation, but I'm not. I've got this crazy belief that my students, my clients, and my listeners will only think I'm credible if that militaristic super trooper image is true 100% of the time in 100% of the situations. That's a pretty tough pedestal to balance on. And it's not even the real me. That's the real no one. Oddly enough, in military situations, criminal stuff, even hunting terrorists, I really never had a big sense of fear when I was doing that particular thing. That's weird, or I think it's weird. But if you tell me I've got to attend a social event, or heaven forbid, a party where I don't know everyone, my stress level goes through the roof. It is horrible. It is terrifying. And there's more. So try to be gentle with me on this stuff, okay? I feel like this probably sounds trivial and foolish to some, but part of moving out of fear is overcoming the fear with action. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking action. I'm telling you about my challenges. So for those of you who have been with me for a few years, or maybe you've just started following me, you might wonder, why is there so much time that goes by between Cranford's podcast and videos? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's definitely not for a lack of content or of knowledge. I've got decades of experience to draw on, and I've got notebook after notebook loaded with ideas that I've written down on topics for podcasts, for interviews, for articles, and more. So what's the problem? Or to be more pointed about it, what's my problem, right? Well, as much as I hate to say it, it's fear. I told you I was going to share my fear. I am terrified of producing content, of recording podcasts, and definitely of recording video of me. What I know about my knowledge on safety, what I know about self-defense, about protecting yourself, and so on, it's good stuff. It is solid, it works, it is usable, and it's effective. This is proven. This isn't theory. This isn't stuff I've made up. It's real stuff from the real world. I have no doubts that what I know and what I teach is effective in saving lives. That's not the problem. What is the problem? I'm afraid that you won't learn from me. And it will happen for the silliest of reasons. You won't listen because I didn't edit the sound of my recordings right. How's that for a fear? I'm afraid you won't pay attention because my video editing skills are sketchy. They're actually minimal. I'm afraid you won't believe what I have to say since I don't look like whatever movie superstar action hero you like. You know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando or Sylvester Stallone in Rambo or any of those tough guys in the G.I. Joe movies. And you might not take me serious because I like to laugh. I like to joke. And sometimes I'm just plain old goofy. I can own up to that. And you might think I don't really know what I'm talking about because my English isn't always perfect. Or because I lose my train of thought every now and then. Or maybe I stutter or stumble over words on occasion. I'm afraid that for whatever ridiculous reason, you won't listen to me. You won't pay attention to what I'm trying to teach you. You won't put what I'm teaching into practice in your life. And in my crazy-making way of thinking, the reason for all of that is because I failed to be good enough. Because I failed to be informative enough. Because I failed to be entertaining enough, and I failed to be likable enough for you to stick with me, pay attention, and listen to me, and learn from me. I'm not a professional speaker, and I'm no actor. I sure can't turn on a different personality that has better speaking skills or whatever. And I'm certainly not much of a technical guru with the equipment that I use. So there's going to be glitches, there's going to be errors, there's going to be goof-ups. And I worry that that will throw you enough or irritate you enough that you won't listen and that you won't hear some life-saving tip or bit of knowledge that could save you or your family. What I am, though, is a guy with a whole lot of skills and experiences that most people on the planet will never have, especially not in the mixture I have them in. You know, I'm a guy who's seen terrible things here in the U.S. and abroad. And I've seen the horrors that people inflict on other people. It's terrible. It's sickening and it's horrible. I'm a guy who really loves people. I want to save everyone. I want to save them from sexual violence, from domestic violence, from human trafficking, home intrusions, terrorism, bullying, and so much more. But I know I can't save everybody. You know that's true. Nobody could. But what I can do, I can teach some people to save themselves. Those people who want to learn, those people who will listen. I have the knowledge and the skills to do that. And I love teaching people who have a desire to learn. But I put it off. I procrastinate. I let my fears stop me. Or I have up until now. You see, I had an epiphany the other day, or a realization. The knowledge I want to share with you and with the world will only save lives and make communities safer if I share it. Now, that shouldn't be a big realization, should it? I mean, it's common sense. But it had to click in my head again because I've been putting off sharing this knowledge. It does no good in my head. I've got to get it out there, whether it's perfect or not, whether the sound's right or not, whether my words are exactly right or not. I've got to get it out there. It has to be shared to be useful. You know, there's a few people that I listen to and I really get some inspiration from in doing videos and podcasts. People like Amy Porterfield. She does online courses and she has a great podcast. She likes to talk about avoiding videos because of her insecurity with how she looks. And that's just really shocking to me for two reasons. One, the value of what she teaches has absolutely nothing to do with how she looks. Of course, I have to remember that for myself too, right? That's a fear, that you won't hear what I have to say because of how I say it. Well, number two, the reason it's shocking to me that she has that fear is that woman is beautiful If you go to her site, amyporterfield.com, or even look her up, you'll see pictures of her. I mean, really, she's beautiful. I have no idea why she would be afraid to be in front of a camera. But that's the same thing that happens to all of us. We have unreasonable fears that make no sense, even to us sometimes. And you know what's awesome about her is she just keeps on going. She is making videos. She does keep making podcasts. Of course, she also has a great voice. And because she pushes through, she's helped thousands of people. And she's helped me. The way she does that, the way she keeps going, it just really motivates me to go beyond my own fears, even when I know they're illogical. It helps me to see that she's done the same thing, and she's a very successful lady. Somebody else who really inspires me to move through my own challenges is Marie Forleo. She also does an online education program and runs Marie TV. Now, Marie, on the other hand, loves to be in front of the camera, or it appears that she does. And if you watch her videos, you'll see that everything she does just seems to flow. It is awesome. You know, she's exciting, she's sassy, funny, intelligent, she's silly, and caring. She lets her full personality show through. And her take is you can just like her or don't like her. It's up to you. And that's powerful to me. You know, it's great. But the thing that really impresses me and inspires me about her is her early videos. Just the fact that she still leaves them up so you can see them is awesome. They were done from a kitchen table with poor lighting, bad sound, and that New Jersey girl would cuss like a sailor. It was her raw, unedited, and uncensored passion to share and to help others. It didn't matter how bad the camera was, how bad the lighting was, how bad the sound was, how poorly she planned what she was going to say. She was determined. She was passionate about it, and she just did it, regardless of what she had going on. And that inspires me. That lady is incredible. There's several other podcasters and YouTubers and speakers that inspire me. Lots of them. I couldn't give you the whole list or we'd have a 3-hour talk today. Some of them are great at what they do. Others aren't so great. And what I mean by that is not their information, but their presentation, you know, their editing, their speaking abilities, and so forth. But those people, the ones with those challenges who aren't so great, I love to watch them. Seeing them push forward through their challenges and difficulties because of their determination and passion is an incredible inspiration to me. That they just keep on. It's incredible. And it makes me wonder, why am I not doing more? So to all of you unnamed podcasters and speakers out there that I enjoy, thank you for continuing to inspire me. So here's what I've decided. I'm going to start cranking out podcasts and videos and maybe the occasional article, although I hear my articles are a bit on the long side. And I'm going to do that just so that I can get this information out there. I'll do some editing, but not a lot of it because it really just doesn't need to be perfect, right? I'm not on NBC or HBO. It's a podcast. I'm talking to you. I'm trying to have a conversation with you and share what I know. So I guess it doesn't really have to be all that polished. I'm not a real polished kind of a guy. So I am going to ask you to do this for me. I want you to overlook the technical goof-ups that I have. I'll try to clear some of them up, but like I said, I'm not going to spend hours in it or I will never get a podcast out. I want you to overlook my personal goof-ups, okay? It's just part of me being a regular person. Overlook my weirdities. That's a combination of oddities and weirdness. So feel free to use that word if you like. I think I just made that up right there. But I want you to overlook all that stuff and learn the lessons I'm trying to share. See what I'm talking about? I will also ask that you share my podcast and videos. Now, I'm not a big marketer. I don't know about that stuff. And social networking, social media is something I'm not really good at. I don't know much about it. And to tell the truth, I don't want to put the time into learning all of it because that will take away from me creating my podcast. It's just something I'm not wanting to put time into. So what I am doing is I'm asking for your help. One of the things that I try to promote, in moving from a survivor of violence to a thriver of life, is it's okay to ask for help when you need it. And I'm doing that now. I would like to think I can do all of it, but surely enough, I know I can't. I've tried it. I'm not too good at, splitting up my attention between 6 different things. I'm not good at splitting my attention between 2 different things. But anyway, so I am asking you for help. Help me spread the knowledge and lessons in my articles, in my podcast, in my videos, and share it with as many people as you would, as many people as possible. My articles and stuff are free. My videos are free. I'm not asking you to help me make any money on this. So this isn't advertising. What it is sharing life-saving, life-bettering information with men and women around the world, in your community, in your state, in different countries, to help them have the knowledge that I'm trying to put out there to live a better life. Now, I will be offering some online courses in the future, which will be paid for courses, and I know I'm going to have to figure out some marketing for that. But that's neither here nor there at this point. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I just wanted to let you know there are some things like that coming. So thank you for listening to my confession. I know all I really admitted to is being human, to having some shortcomings, to having fears to overcome, and to failing. And you know what? Those things probably won't change. I'm still going to have fears. I'm still going to drop the ball sometimes. I'm still going to be just plain old human. I really hope that sharing these things, these personal things, that I would rather keep hidden. I would like for people to think I'm fearless, but I would rather you believe me and know me as a real person. So I really hope that in sharing these things, you'll be able to connect with me a little more, and then you'll see me more as the caring person I am, the person trying to make the world better, rather than just the person who's a veteran, of military service, of law enforcement service, because we know that there's a stereotype of those kinds of people, and I'm not it. Regardless of your gender, your nationality, your race, your religion, your age, or your political party, I believe you are valuable and important. I know you are. You have the right to be safe, and you have the right to protect yourself and those that you love. And I'll help you with those things by sharing what I know and by making it relatable to your everyday life, regardless of who you are or what you do for a living. I know it's got to be relatable. I can't talk about military jargon and law enforcement tactics and techniques. It won't click for you. So I'll make sure that it's in everyday situational relatability. Boy, I just made that phrase up. But it's going to be so that you can understand it for at your work or in your relationship or when you're shopping or when you're traveling or when you're out of country or when you're in your car. I'm going to make it relatable. Otherwise, you can't use it, and then I'm wasting your time, right? So I'll make it relatable for you. And I'm going to do this stuff because no matter how many well-intentioned programs are put in place by our governments, no matter how much social activism or government legislation or laws against violence or any other criminal acts that we have, well, there's always going to be criminals. There's going to be psychos, kooks, dictators, bullies, and things that bring out the worst in people. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being a realist. I'm actually rather optimistic. I just know that that's the world we live in. There are always going to be challenges like that. My personal belief on it is that most people are good, regardless of what we hear in the news. I mean, we know the news doesn't do a lot of peace and goodness stories because that doesn't sell ad space. That doesn't get ratings. So we hear about the bad stuff. But I really think most people are good. That being said, there might be times when something terrible happens in your life, when someone bad shows up in your life. And I want you to have as many options, as many resources as possible to respond to those bad instances, those bad people. That's what I want for you, so that you, by yourself, have the ability to respond as effectively and safely as possible to any situation. And since I make what I'm teaching as relatable as possible, I'm going to teach you how to use that same knowledge to protect yourself in non-criminal but still dangerous situations. Like a natural disaster, the hurricane, the house that's on fire, or the building that's on fire. I'll also help you see how many of the things that I teach can be applied to positive things, ways to make things better in your life, how to be a better boss, a better business owner, a better spouse, and a better parent. Yep, surely enough, some of the stuff that I know can be applied to making life very, very peaceful and good. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. Now admit it, you certainly wouldn't expect that sort of education. Make life good, peaceful, happy, let's hold hands, right? You wouldn't expect that sort of education from a guy with a background like me. And I get it. If you're skeptical, it's fine. I would be skeptical if I heard somebody saying what I'm saying. But I'm me, so I know what I actually know. I want you to stick with me, okay? I want you to listen. I want you to learn. I want you to put what I teach into practice. Test it for yourself. See if it makes sense. See if it rings true to you. And if it's something that's totally outside of what you've ever heard, then just believe in it at first, okay? I want you to believe in it at first so that your mind can grasp on to the possibility of how helpful what I'm teaching can be. When you see it in action, you'll believe it for real. In doing that, I just want you to be able to create a safer, happier, more prosperous life for yourself. Here's some more fear stuff of mine. I'm afraid that many of you won't do what I was just talking about, that you won't listen with attention, that you won't listen hard enough to learn, maybe to jot down notes so that you can remember what I'm talking about. I'm afraid that you won't practice, that you won't put it into practice in your life. And I'm even more afraid that if I don't try to help you, if I don't try to get you to learn these things, then I'm not trying to make the world a better place. And what that means to me is that I have failed. It means I've contributed to humanity's terrible problems by not becoming part of the solution, by not showing you, by not teaching you the things that I know that you may never ever hear anywhere else at any price. It's my responsibility in having learned these things to share them with you. So please, listen, learn, share. Get on my email list, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share my content everywhere you can. Let's make every effort together to make life better. And let's make every effort to live a better life and to make a better world. So until next time, as we keep moving from survivors to thrivers, this is Cranford Blackman reminding you to stay safe and stay strong. To make sure you never miss an episode of Survivors to Thrivers podcast, subscribe at LaBCaF.com.